Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar, Joint Sealing Solutions for Water Retaining Structures. We're excited to have an exceptional international expert with us. Joining us from Thailand, we have a regional business manager for sealing and bonding with over 13 years of experience in the specialty chemicals and gas industry. A seasoned professional with a passion of creating value for customers, stakeholders, and in the industry. We're fortunate to hear his insights today on sealing solution. But before we dive into today's session, I'd like to go over some important reminders to ensure we all have a smooth and engaging webinar experience. Do participate. Feel free to ask questions throughout the webinar. We'll have a Q&A session at the end, but if something comes up, you can type your questions in the chat box and we'll address it during the discussion. We're asking everyone to please mute your microphone to avoid background noises. This will help us to keep the audio clear for everyone. The chat box is open for you to share your comments or ask questions. We encourage active listening and engaging with the content. Take notes if something stands out and get ready to ask insightful questions during Q&A. If you're having trouble with the audio, video, or any other technical aspect, please let us know in the chat box. That's all for me now. Let's sit back, relax, and enjoy today's session. Now, without any further ado, let me introduce to you Mr. Shivam Rai. Hi, Shivam. Good morning.
Hi. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Regina. Thanks a lot for a very flowery introduction. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to sharing the sealants and adhesives, products and applications pertaining to the water retaining structures. So let me share my screen. Give me a moment. And by the way, Regina, is this webinar getting recorded so the participants can also view it later, or it's?
Yes, it's recorded, and we will post it into our Facebook channel also.
Okay, so can you guys see my screen? You can show some thumbs up or thumbs down in case there's an issue with the audio or with the slides. Is it okay? Okay, good. Thank you so much. Perfect. So I think we have about 60 minutes, and what I intend to cover is the following. So first we will talk about the technology within the sealant space pertaining to the water retaining structures. We will then go a step down to, within the technology, what has �ษิ𝗂's unique invention has been. From there, we'll go to, some products, and finally, we'll talk about the applications of those products. And as I understand that pacifier is another topic of quite interest in Philippines. So, I would say this is sort of a desert for around the pacifier linear solutions which we have in store to offer. Okay, so let's talk about the technology first. So, well, in �ษิ𝗂, we do believe in polyurethanes, and why we believe in polyurethanes compared to MS or STP or hybrids or whatever is because when you look at the broad spectrum of different technologies like polyurethanes, silicones, MS, STP, acrylics, so on, and it's been, and this is something which is widely known, that when it comes to the mechanical properties like the elasticity or the movement capability or the tear resistance, there's no better polymer than polyurethanes. Okay. The second element is the durability. �ษิ𝗂's polyurethane sealants have, depending upon the application they've been crafted for. We have, some sealants which have excellent chemical and hydrolysis resistance, typically, which is required for the oil and gas chemical, plants. In terms of the cost versus performance, compared to the performance we get in terms of the durability or the mechanical properties or even the movement capability and stuff, the cost is pretty, I would say, in line. So this is, 1, 2, and 3. This is polyurethanes. I would say that, these are inherent nature of polyurethane, nothing specific to 𝗃. But this is where we have added the value of further. I would say we have improvised the polyurethanes with our patented 𝗍𝗀 technology. Now we will talk about what is this 𝗍𝗀 technology, but those of you who are familiar using sealants, you must have observed during, especially in the hot tropical weather, sealants do get tendency to, especially PU sealants do have tendency to bubble. There we see those pinholes. Now with 𝗃's 𝗍𝗀 technology, basically we say there's no bubble, no trouble. Okay, moving on. The other important element when we talk about sealant is the adhesive strength. I mean, while the mechanical properties are good, but if you don't have the necessary adhesion, especially on the concrete or porous substrates, which is where like in a market like Philippines, we have a lot of these precast buildings coming in, and those are typically concrete or some sort of porous substrate. So the other thing about polyurethanes is that it has excellent adhesive compatibility when it comes to the porous substrates, including precast, concrete, and wood stuff, right? Besides the mechanical and the chemical resistance that it has. So the sealants in 𝗃, we further with 𝗍𝗀 and further with 𝗍𝗀 and customizing it for each application area, we have really kind of taken the the performance level pretty high. You will see it in my subsequent slides. Now this is a traditional polyurethane curing. If you see, this is the reaction which happens. Yeah, there is two parts, they come together, the chain is formed, and when the chain is formed, or when the polyurethane cures, when the polymerization happens, there is the CO2 which is released as a byproduct. Now this is the CO2 gas which needs to escape. It needs to go to the top, and from top it will go out of the formulation. And those pinholes that you see are basically caused by this those are basically outlets for CO2, I would say, evaporation. Now in 𝗃, now this is, as you see here, we say traditional polyurethane, right? Now 𝗃's 𝗍𝗀 polyurethane, we use some, I would say, patented recipe, ingredients. So what happens is that when these molecules, when the OH and the NCN, the OH and the MDI content, when they come together and the polymerization happens, there, instead of a CO2, there is VOC-free liquid. So basically there's no CO2 being released the way we formulate our polyurethanes. And as a result, if there's no CO2 in the formulation, there's nothing that needs to go out. So even in the hot and humid conditions in the hot and humid environment, also there is no bubbling, right? So that's the USP of I would say 𝗃's 𝗍𝗀 technology. Let me see if we can play this. Can we? Just give me a moment. There is, apologies for this, it doesn't seem to play, but the idea was just to explain you the same thing, that with the moisture, the traditional PU will cure and the CO2 will be formed, and here with 𝗃 there will be no CO2, right? Now let's also understand what is this 𝗍𝗀, which is part of our bigger Perform technology brand. So 𝗍𝗀 is not new for us in 𝗃. It's been launched in 2010. It's bubble free, it's odorless, and it also has I would say relatively better shelf life. We have more than 30 patents to protect this 𝗍𝗀 technology. Yeah, we believe that every project wherein a polyurethane sealant is sold, especially in Southeast Asia, normal polyurethane is sold. That is, in a way, we are opening the door for the MS or STP, which are, I would say, sort of a compromise when it comes to the concrete substrates, right? So, with iCure, it's intelligent hardener, improved quality, and it's no trouble basically without, because there's no bubble. Now, this was to give you a technology overview and talk about 𝗶𝗂's invention, which is iCure. Now, from here on, we are getting more deeper and deeper into the products and the applications. So first, let's talk about water retaining structure. So, we are talking about civil engineering structures like dams or airports or reservoirs or, these kind of civil engineering segments. Now, typically when it comes to the infrastructure nowadays, what we see is, given in this age of urbanization and mobility, you can't really, I mean, these structures, they are exposed to a lot of load, and eventually over a period of time wear and tear happens, which leads to the refurbishment. Now, the big need for the construction industry is to basically reduce the time it takes to get the infrastructure up and ready, especially when it's being refurbished. I mean, you cannot close an airport runway for 10 days just because you have to do the runway sealant. Or similarly, if it's a pedestrian path, you have to finish your job in 2 days or maximum overnight and then get going from there. So basically, the market is looking for this rapid curing construction material or sealants. And there are reasons around that. Also, there's a limited resources around the when it comes to the labor, right? When it comes to labor, and on the other side, the requirements for the durability or the lifetime expectation for the products have gone high. So in 𝗶𝗂, I mean, yes, we do have a solution here. This is called 𝗶𝗂 406 KC. It's a one component polyurethane, and so this is a 10-liter pail. Yeah, it can come in yellow or it can come in this one. I mean, the product inside is gray and black. Now this sausage that you see here, this is a 150 ml sausage, and this is we call it booster. So if this booster paste goes in this in this 10-liter pail and you mix it for about 10-15 minutes, then you can accelerate the curing to as low as 3 hours, and after 3 hours the surface or the area can be open for the traffic. So it's very good for rail joints or airport joints or pedestrian or highways, wherein you have a very limited specific time to do the job and then open it. So there we have, this is one component. It comes with a booster, and what you see here, this dashing gun, this if you want a very controlled application. So this product is self-leveling. What it means by self-leveling is that you can pour it and it will settle. It's but if there's also this gun available. So you put in the sausage here, and if you have the vertical joints, you can do the vertical joints with this gun. So you can also use the ordinary gun which you have in your market, but in case of more sophisticated application, this gun can be used. Right, so here you see it's that pail you open, the white thing you see is that booster paste. So you put the booster paste, you mix it for 10 minutes, and then basically, as you see, joints can be sanded after 50 minutes and trafficked. That means open for traffic after 2 hours, maximum I would say 3 hours. And this is also iCure, right? So there is no bubble. The system cures bubble free, and we understand that, we are talking construction and we are talking job site. So this product has been crafted in a way that it stays still, I would say, robust, even if there are some mixing errors. Instead of mixing it for 15 minutes, if it has been mixed only 5 minutes or 10 minutes, I mean, there is a wide range for these errors. That's what I'm trying to say. But yeah, this is, and you can also use it without the booster paste, by the way. If you don't want accelerated curing, maybe you don't want, your application is not really time bound or whatever, so you may choose not to use with the booster paste. Okay, this product comes with a lot of certifications, which makes it an ideal for especially airports, wherein they have very specific ASTM or FED spec requirements. So the product is called 406KC, right? And you must be thinking there's this Pro 3SL. So these, we have two products basically. They both look the same, but what's the difference is they have different certifications. Pro 3SL has the food grade compatibility, ISEGA, clean room certifications. So it's more ideal for those industrial applications. 406KC is the product for the airports because it has certificates related to the runways, right? So this is what I was here. You can see this is a defense wall in UK. Now this wall here, this is the wall. What would happen is that the tide would come up every day and would cover at least half of this wall. Every night the tide would come and the water would kind of consume half of this wall. What it meant is that we had only time during the day to do the application and it should cure. So this is one job site wherein you can see the tide goes out and joint sealing team for the precast seawall elements, they get going and they install with the sealing. So there they use this gun because that's a more close-up picture you can see, because they wanted a very very finished and very precise sealing. So here's a close-up picture. On the other side, this is, you can see a station in UK. This is just showing that also when you use this gun, the waste is almost negligible, right? Okay. Now let's so here we talked about the rapid release. All right, for the fast curing products, for fast curing product that we have. But here now I'm going to take you to give you an overview of product for each type of civil engineering structure. And well, I mean, I would like to begin with that. Usually the tendency is that, oh, it's a civil engineering, it's a bridge, or it's a highway, or it's an airport. So, okay, we need concrete and, tons of, I would say, cementitious product, which is true. But also there is no civil engineering project which does not use sealants. Right, you have the sealants here on this is an airport runway. You have sealants on these kind of highway because there are those socket joints on the bridges everywhere basically. So sealants are big opportunity, and typically with flooring, concrete, and waterproofing products, sealant shouldn't be missed, I would say. Now, when we talk about the civil engineering sealants, these are different than the sealants that we use for facade or a residential building, whatever, right? Because when it comes to civil engineering, now we are looking for the sealants which have following properties. So very strong tear resistance, excellent UV resistance, because this would be exposed to rain, heat, cold, whatsoever. Hydrolysis also becomes very important. Creep resistance chemicals, yeah, because when we're talking, I mean, for example, socket joints on the road or the airport runway, I mean, there is so much of fuel, jet fuel, which would kind of trickle down on the runway, and from there it will anyway go inside the ground. And sealants, there's no way sealants can stay insulated or can avoid these fuels. So basically you need sealants which have a good chemical resistance. Now, traditionally speaking, I think for these kind of applications, polysulfide was used. Right now, polysulfide is still the best when it comes to the chemical resistance, but I would say that in case of with polysulfide, it has relatively difficult adhesion and also has weak mechanical properties, but the thing which are actually the strong points for polyurethane, right? So again here, polyurethane, because of its excellent mechanical and the and the flexible properties, combined with the added or combined with the chemical resistant part which we add to our sealants, we can go for any kind of civil engineering project with polyurethanes. So let's look at the first one. So solutions for warehouse. So typically these are the warehouse floor joints, and they have there could be hundreds of these forklifts running day in, day out with heavy stack on them. So that means that there would be a lot of load. The load bearing capacity of the sealants which are used on the floor joints has to be really high, right? So here we have a product which is Sikaflex Pro 3, or Sikaflex Pro 3 is non-sack, right? And the Pro 3 SL means self-leveling. So we have the product in both versions, whether you want to apply it with a gun or you want to basically pour it over with a pail or through a pail. So this is the self-leveling version available. There are these certificates EN 15651 and EN 14188, which basically talk about the load-bearing strength of the sealant. So this is robust, it's durable, and it's basically it has that balance between the hardness and the movement capability or the flexibility to bear this the load of these heavy load, I would say, of these forklifts. Next up, parking decks. Again, maybe thousands of cars or hundreds of cars would basically would be running around the parking area of a mall or a hotel or any kind of these infrastructure. And in some cases, it's not so common in, I would say, Southeast Asia, but in other parts, it's also common to have the parking decks on the roof. So it's exposed to heat, rain, humidity, everything. Again, the product is Sikaflex Pro 3. Yeah, which is a non-sag one, and Pro 3 SL. It has the water resistance, high level of water resistance, which makes it fit for these kind of applications. Now here, when we go to the food processing, they are very concerned about the ISAGA or basically FDA approval. So we have this sealant which has FDA approval, which basically says that this sealant material can come in contact with the foodstuffs, plastic or whatsoever. So the floor joints here that you see, or here on the shop floor, on the production floor, they will be exposed to many times hot alkaline or acidic water, because these hot water would be either used for cleaning this, for doing the periodic cleaning of these factories, or it would be, I would say the byproduct, or could be the product which is being packed here. So the floor would be exposed to hot water, could also be exposed to, because there's food, there's heavy chances of, the mold growing up. So, the product has the resistance to humidity and mold. So again, it's Pro 3, and it has the certificate which makes it exceptionally ideal product for these applications. Clean rooms. This is another thing. Here we are talking about usually clean rooms are, they require a very high level of certification. They also require, very high level of decontamination, which means that the air inside the clean room has to be, clean to the extent of parts per billion. So less than 20 or 10 parts per billion, not ppm, but ppb, right? So what it means that there is no room for any VOC, any volatile organic compound, that smell which you get. There's no room for those kind of VOC products. And again, for the sealants, you need a sealant which has almost no outgassing of VOC. And the certification, and again, this is again very certification driven market or application. So here we have the clean room suitable material certification, which is by Seagate outgassing test. Again, it's been the product, which is Pro 3, has been tested for this application. Clean rooms, as you would know, typical for production for electronics, medical, pharmaceutical companies. Also, I would say certain food grade or pharma grade chemical plants, they have the clean rooms. Next up is, these kind of, big socket joints that we see on the roads and, on the pavement joints. Yeah, this is in, the terminal area of the port. There's a big, crossroad. So basically, here again, rapid release of infrastructure to traffic becomes very important. And that is why the product here is the one that I talked in the beginning, 𝗶𝗶 406kc. You can also use Pro 3 SL, but 𝗶𝗶 406kc is mainly suited for this airport and road related applications. So pavement joints at harbor, yeah, this is a picture here, or the road connection joints here. I mean, you can't really cordon off this area for 2 days and say that, oh, the sealant needs to cure, right? There's no room for that. And these roads do require refurbishment considering the weight they carry or the weight that runs over it day in, day out. So 406kc is the product. Again, for the rail connection joints, these rail joints which have been installed 30, 50, 60, 100 years ago, they do need periodic refurbishment. And again, this is related to traffic, and it's related, and here again you need speed. So 𝗶𝗶 406kc. So the idea why I'm sharing the product and the application, because I want to understand that, our idea is always to do more with less. So I don't want to introduce 10 products to you for each different applications. Yeah, there are 2 products, 406kc or 𝗶𝗶 Pro 3. Both come in self-leveling and in non-sag version. Depending upon the application, you can choose one because they have different certificates. Right. Now comes the airports. I think Philippines is no exception. Like other countries, there's a lot of airport refurbishment keeps taking place. Now these runways or the taxi hangar that you see here, the hangars or the runway, day in and day out, they are exposed to heavy load. Hundreds of flights touching down and taking off. So these large, I would say, these large pavements, they need sealants. And here it gets again very specific to this particular certificate, which is US Fed Spec SSS 200E. So if as soon as you see this specification, this certification, this specification, you should know that 𝗶𝗶 406kc you can choose with the booster. The 𝗶𝗶 402 airport, it's been phased out, so my apologies. So I will take it off later before we share it with you guys, this presentation. So yeah, here the other important element with this type of sealant is that jet fuel. Jet fuel is mix of benzene, gasoline, diesel, many type of different fuel, and it's very, I would say, highly not, I would say, corrosive, but it's it has it's highly degrading for the sealants, right? So it can make the sealant lose its adhesion, lose its movement capability. So typically airports around the world in 2 years, in typically, depending upon the traffic, but 2 years, I would say, is average time when every airport in the, has to redo these sealants. right? So whether it's a new airport coming in or it's a refurbishment, there's a huge opportunity of and these I mean, you know, these airports and these runways, they are huge, right? So that means that we are talking about hundreds and thousands of square meter of sealants being used. Then the next one is the containment. Yeah, you have these fuel stations. Also these the handling or storage plants for chemicals or oil and gas companies. Yeah, these floors, there's no denying that they would have pilferage of diesel, petrol, kerosene, whatever different kind of fuels being exposed throughout their life cycle. And this is again where you need a sealant. More important than anything else here, what matters is the fuel resistance. So here we have the product 𝗶𝗶 Tank N. So you might be wondering that why not why I cannot use 406kc. Well, you can use 406kc as well, because that also has fuel resistance, a good amount of jet fuel resistance. But if you are relating to EN 14187 or again, if its specification tells you to have something which has EN 14187, then 𝗶𝗶 Tank N is the product. Yeah, it has excellent resistance to any kind of hydrocarbons, so you can use it in any kind of chemical, oil and gas, water treatment plant. Now, I don't know if it's also relevant for Philippines, but typically, we have these silos. These are called, the biogas production. So what happens is, for the biogas production, right, they put so much of organic waste inside. They they put the lid over this chamber. They expose it to methane and different gases for a period of time, and then the biogas is produced. Now, what happens is, as you can see, these linings on these containment, these are they are not constructed at the site, but these are installed at the site. So these linings are referring to different layers of metal which needs to be stacked one over another, and they need to be joined. They need to be sealed, right? So you need a sealant here. Now, the sealants, a typical sealant cannot withstand this, because there's so much of organic gas and liquid being churned inside that a normal sealant which is not resistant to organic acid, and also at a temperature, there's also a temperature of about 45 to 60 degrees. So you need a sealant which is resistant to chlorine, resistant to the liquid manure which goes inside. So here we have the product. This is the most robust product we have, 𝗶𝗶 403 Tank and Silo. It comes in the sausage, 600 ml. And typically for the liquid manure storage plants or the biodigesters or for the biogas production, this is the best product there, right? Finally, socket joints. If you see these highways, wherever you have these the concrete, these concrete joints. So basically, these are nothing. These highways are nothing, but they are, I would say, series of concrete joints laid next to each other, right? Now, at every joint, there needs to be a cut made like this, and these are called socket joints. And these cuts are made to make sure that there is a room for some expansion and contraction, because it's concrete, and concrete expands, shrinks, whatever, based on the climatic condition. So these cuts are made, and these cuts cannot be left open like this. So they have to be sealed, and typically silicone is used here. And the product we have here is 𝗶𝗂 728. It comes with ASTM C920, and it has 100% plus, and it can expand up to 100%, and it can then contract, go back to its original shape. And this is approved by US Department of Transportation, in case it's it's relevant for you guys. But basically, socket joints on the concrete highways, you definitely, you will see it on, you'll see crack or slick being made like this, and this needs to be sealed when it's freshly cut. So sort of, I would say wrap up here. So you know that if it's pedestrian traffic areas, industry floor, food processing, clean rooms, you have 𝗶𝗶 Pro 3 or Pro 3 SL. It's airport roads, more sensitive to certifications and time pressure, go with 𝗶𝗶 406 KC. If it's organic acid, liquid manure, silage, biodigesters, the product is 403 tank and silo. If it's hydrocarbons, 𝗶𝗶 tank N. And if it's again airport, they will need, as I said, SSS 200E, this certification. So you have 406 KC for airport. Has it been, is it clear so far? Or Regina, can you look at the chat box and let me know if there are, because I am on presentation mode and I don't really see if there are any questions. So this is the last slide on the civil engineering, and then because we are going to move to the passive fire protection solution. So anyone want to unmute and ask any questions, or if there are already questions in the chat box, let me know. We can discuss and then move to the next part, or I can move straight away to the next part.
Yes, I think for now there's no questions in the chat box. Anyone who have question, you can unmute.
Okay.
If none, you can proceed, Shiva.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you. So now, yeah, this is in another area where, which is, I would say, becoming more and more relevant for emerging markets like Philippines. Yeah, the pacifier protection is gaining prominence. And well, in 𝗶𝗂, what it means is, so those of you who are seeing this for the first time, let me just explain you. So what happens is that the fire in the building needs to be compartmentalized. So what happens as per the the building codes being written now. So each building, especially commercial buildings like hotel or mall or office building, whatsoever, even residential buildings, skyscrapers and all, they need to compartmentalize the building. And what happens is, what I mean by compartmentalizing is that you seal one part of the building with this, this orange thing that you see is basically the sealant. These are called linear seals. Now, the only difference between this linear seal and a normal seal is that in case of fire, if there's a fire over here, this linear seal will prevent the fire from moving, from this side to the other side, for up to 4 hours. So for up to 240 minutes, the fire will not be able to, I would say, move or expand from this side to the other side. So there are big, so sealants are one part of the pacifier, but there are also fire-rated mortar, there are fire-rated putty, fire-rated collars, there are collars which go on the pipes. But for us, I think, and especially for Philippines as a market, I think you should look at, you should know we have these products, 𝗶𝗶 400 Fire. This is polyurethane sealant here. This has fire resistance up to 240 minutes, which is 4 hours. Then we have 670 𝗶𝗂 SIL. Yeah, SIL is silicone, so it's 670 fire. This product here, it comes in cartridge. This is silicone, again 4 hours. Then we have 621 fire 𝗶𝗂 acryl. Acryl is acrylic. So this acryl is acrylic. Again, it has 4 hours. Now, what we also have, and which is, I would say, innovation in the whole industry, is the backer rod. So this 𝗶𝗂 backer rod, it's made of glass wool, and this has been tested. If you use this backer rod, you can use 𝗁𝗶𝗏 250, a normal, even a normal 𝗁𝗂 polyurethane sealant like 𝗁𝗏 140 construction or whatever, and still it will be able to, and this insulation, this backer rod will basically insulate or resist the fire. This has also been tested for up to 4 hours, right? Now, these orange streaks that you see, of course, it depends on the design of the building, but typically these, these orange here, if you see these collars, the collars on the pipe, this also has to be fire rated, or even these shafts here, they need to be fire resistant. But specifically for today, I want you to look at these orange streaks and understand that for these kind of fire resistant application, which are, linear seals, we have the, polyurethane, silicone, acrylic, even the PU foam, right? We also have the PU foam here, which can resist up to 4 hours. So these are the products here. And I would like to kind of I would say double click on this product 400 Fire, which is an excellent product because it is polyurethane, and polyurethane would have excellent compatibility with concrete. So this product is available, I think, in your market. It has plus minus 35% movement capability, and we have the Australian standard, the EN, the ISO, the ASTM. We have quite robust certification for this product, right? And I'm happy to show some, I would say, reference. So this is the Sydney Football Stadium, right? The stadium, the aisles, the sitting aisles, they use a lot of sealant there, right? Because to compensate for the movement, to compensate for the movement requirements, when, let's say, hundreds and thousands of people are there and some match is going on, people would be jumping and running or whatever. So these structures need a huge amount of sealants. So here it was also a requirement to have a fire resistance. So we sold 𝗁𝗏 400 Fire here. Yeah, this is the contractor and the main group and the sealant. This was huge quantity, about 23,000 LM. The next one is, I think, this one is from your market itself, Urban Deco Home Condominium. This where we did about 18,000 LM. So we already have a reference from your market. And then this is another one from, I think this is Australia again. This is this structure, this magnificent structure you see is a multiplex, basically IMAX. It's a multiplex theater. And here, all the exterior joints needed to be fireproof. A fire resistant sealant was supposed to be used. So here again, we went ahead with 400 Fire. You can see these are the closer pictures of the inside. So, and these sealants that you see here and here, this is all the 400 Fire. So again here about 18,000 LM. So for your market, I think 400 Fire is the product. We are also coming, by the way, up with advanced, or let's say a successor of 𝗁𝗏 400 Fire. But that's still a while away from here. So I would not discuss too much on that. And yes, that brings me to the end of my slide, and I'm happy to have any questions, suggestions, comments. I hope you liked it as much as I liked sharing it with you guys. This will be made available to you later by the team in Philippines in the PDF format. Yeah. So yeah, you can let me see the chat box. Okay, so there's no question. So either it's too easy and too clear, or it's all clear going over the head. Yeah. So is it all good, all clear? You can show thumbs up or thumbs down. Okay, thank you for some of you. Yeah, good. Thank you. And any questions you have, or also maybe later, all sealants are applied cold. Yes, that's true. All sealants are applied cold. There's only was that bituminous, hot applied, but that's anyway a technology which is too run of the mill and too old. So we don't really have bitumen. And anyway, in terms of the mechanical properties, it's nowhere closer to polyurethanes or other technologies, right?
I think there's no more question from our participants.
Good.
Okay. Thank you, Shivam. Again, thank you so much for attending today's webinar. We hope you
Perfect.
we hope you found the information valuable and you're walking away with actionable insights that will help you in choosing the right sealant for the right solution. So before we wrap up, I just want to remind you that we will be sending out a recording of the webinar so you can revisit any of the content covered. Additionally, if you have any further questions, we would like more information, please feel free to reach us or any sales specialist that is assigned on you. Again, thank you and happy to see you on the next webinar. Thank you, Shivam.
Take care,
Bye.
everyone. Thank you, Regina and Lou, for organizing this. And to all the listeners, audience, have a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.